Now, a petition launched by disability rights campaigner and TV star Katie Price to make it more difficult for online trolls to be anonymous has passed the 100,000 stage. It's now at 140,000 signatures. Katie Price wants to make it a legal requirement for anyone opening a new social media account to have to provide a verified form of ID. It's hoped that by lifting the ability to be anonymous, it would make it easier to trace people posting abusive messages and bring them to justice. Katie's son, Harvey, who has a number of conditions which affect his brain function, hormones and vision, and means he has learning disabilities and behavioural problems, has received vile abuse over the years. Well, let's talk to Katie Price now, and also to Conservative MP Andrew Griffith, who is backing Katie's campaign. Hello, both of you. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. Katie, just describe to our audience what people would have to do when opening a new account on Instagram and Snapchat or wherever.
So, because obviously the way forward now is going to be social media. Everything's going on the internet. So always trying to find these people who've make all these comments, not just about Harvey, about anybody. If you report them, they shut them down and they reopen again. Now, by using this tracker troll, which is the petition I want to do, you have to have ID. And if you're under 18, a parent or guardian, their ID. So if you do troll, if you do anything like that and say things that you know you shouldn't be saying, you can easily be tracked. Because people have to remember what you write could affect someone. And there's people who've been committing suicide is a hell of a lot more in this past lockdown. The past 2 years, it's gone up and up and up. And it's just a simple thing. I don't understand why these social medias don't do it or won't do it. I know we're all matter of fact what we say, and I know we all like to have a joke. And unfortunately, with these sites, people like it when they retweet them because they get more followers, this and that, and it's better for the sites. But if they really look at it, the amount of deaths, the mental health caused by it, and is it really necessary to make these comments? These comments are harsh. They're racial. You get death threats. There's all sorts of things. And if people want to argue and say that they're acceptable to do, you don't need ID for that, then that's something must be done. It's a no-brainer.
People, I mean, I've been looking at, people have got various reactions to this petition, and what people want to know is, does that mean people would have to use their real names when they open an account? Because some have quite legitimate concerns. For example, people within the LGBT plus community, for example, I've seen tweets from them saying, you know, actually, not many people know I'm gay. My parents don't know I'm gay. Would they have to use their real names?
But when we say ID, you know, I could be called Princess Price on something when my name's Katie Price. But just ID to know where you can be contacted.
Right.
So it's a contact. Because when you open social media, you have to photo ID for that. But what you put on your actual page, it doesn't matter as long as you can be tracked.
Understood.
And if people don't want to do that, then they know they're guilty of something.
Andrew Griffith, why are you backing this campaign from Katie Price?
Well, first of all, I want to pay tribute to Katie. She's a battling mum, and she's trying to do the right thing and stick up for her son. And it's a difficult thing to step into this very unregulated space. Freedom of speech is incredibly important. It's one of our fundamental rights, but it's never been freedom of speech behind the cloak of anonymity. That doesn't apply to any other platform. So when Katie came to talk to me, and she showed that some of the abuse and some of the misogyny, as we think particularly about the role of women in society that's going on online, it seems to me that something that you can do, because many other social media platforms, you know, Airbnb, all of the gaming and betting sites, have some very practical, easy ways that you can verify yourself online. It doesn't mean that you can't still sit behind a handle. You don't have to expose your name to the wider world, but at least someone out there knows who you are and can potentially act as a brake if you've overstepped the line of freedom of speech, just as in the offline world, the same applies. So
why do you think then the tech companies haven't asked for this thus far?
Well, I think, look, it's for them to say, but I think a couple of things. First of all, it is an extra step, and their model so far in a competitive world has been to try and proliferate their sites as far as they can. And secondly, we all know that many people who are young people who are under the age of their own compliance policies are on social media. You can go into any primary or secondary school and find plenty of people who've got social media accounts well below the recommended age. This would be an important opportunity for the first time to enforce that. But obviously in the past, that's been slightly antithetical to their business models, which have motivated themselves to try and get their hooks into people at a young age.
Katie, this...
Not only that, the people who run these, so I was going to say, the people who run these social medias, I bet if someone close to them or their other halves or child or someone committed suicide because they were being trolled and that online, then they would think different, because they'd be like, oh my God, if this was in place, this might not have happened. And it's always the way, until something happens to them, people don't react. I am reacting because I'm not just protecting my son. I want to protect everyone out there. Someone gets trolled to some kind of, there's some kind of way, but we all know when we're pushing the line. And I'd love to say what kind of abuse Harvey gets, but do you know what? I wouldn't say it because it's so horrific to say. But when you read it, it should be treated the same as how you say it. So if I verbally said these words to someone, I'd get arrested, for being racist, this and that. So it should have the same effect just because it's written down. I do know that 3 people have been arrested, the ones I was looking for Harvey, a couple in Aberdeen. And some of the national newspapers ran their faces, and the person who actually retweeted it has been charged with malicious communications. So there are some things in place.
So obviously we're not going to talk about any active cases because we don't want to prejudice anything. But the point is, they have been tracked down by the police without your what you want being in place.
I put them on my social media to find them, and I think so many people were shocked by what they did. So then, a couple of the national newspapers ran it, and then the police phoned me and emailed me and basically said they found them, they're charging them, and I said that I will attend court because I want to face these people myself. And just to show that something can be done.
Sure.
But we still need to tighten up because this doesn't happen in everyone's case. And if anyone out there's being trolled, I would say just document everything you can so you got that case, and then go to the police with it. There's no point retaliating back because you end up being just as bad as them.
Absolutely. Mute them or block them. Andrew Griffith, your party has been in power for over 10 years now. Why hasn't this been done already by your government?
Well, it's clearly an emerging issue. I think the key thing is to look from today forwards. I mean, I wasn't there 10 years ago. This petition by Katie has very, very rapidly exceeded the 100,000 level, so it will be debated in Parliament. The government's brought forward consultations and will bring forward a bill on online harms, and I hope that could be a vehicle in which this could be done. No one says this is easy. No one says there is a silver bullet, but by signing Katie's petition, everybody who wants to see more responsible social media, and there are many, many benefits of social media as well, but those that want to see a more responsible social media that does have some of the same sort of regulations and protections that the BBC itself has, that the printed media has, and that would be the case if you try to exercise your freedom of speech in the high street, to try and level that up. So I'm much more interested, to be honest, in how we go forward from here. It's not the easiest issue, and we all know how social media has just exploded, particularly amongst the young, over the last decade.
Thank you very much, both of you. We'll see what happens.
Thank you. Have a good day and keep safe.
Thank you. Andrew Griffith, Conservative MP, and Katie Price. Thank you.